Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Everybody, good afternoon. How are you this afternoon? Okay, let's open our class by reciting Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. In our class, everybody, welcome to my class. Here, I would like to explain about adjective clause. As you know, that adjective clause is a clause, but firstly, you need to know what clause is. First, clause. Clause is a word that contains of subject and also the verb. So, clause is a word that contains subject and subject and verb. Okay, here, as you know, the clause is a word that contains of subject and also verb. And clause divided by two. So there are two kinds of clause. The first is independent clause, and the second is dependent clause. Independent clause. Independent clause is a complete sentence, contains of the subject and also the verb. But dependent clause is not a complete sentence. It needs to independent clause to become a complete sentence. For example, independent clause. Independent clause. Dependent clause. As I told you, that clause divided by two. The first independent clause and dependent clause. Independent clause is a complete sentence, contains of the subject and also the verb. The dependent clause is a clause that used as a noun. It contains of the verb and also the subject, but it's used as a noun. It's not a complete sentence. It needs independent clause. Okay, for example, I am eating. This is independent clause. It's already a complete sentence. But dependent clause is not a complete sentence. For example, what I eat. So, dependent clause means independent clause. To know what does it mean. So everybody, adjective clause is a clause, is a dependent clause. So adjective clause is a dependent clause that modifies as a noun. Modifies the noun. So adjective clause is dependent clause that modifies the noun. It describes, identifies, or gives further information about a noun. So here I will make the note for adjective clause. Adjective clause is a dependent clause that use to modify a noun. Dependent clause that use to modify noun. So adjective clause is a dependent clause that uses to modify a noun. Okay. Here, do you understand about this? Firstly, we need to know what clause is. Is a word that contains a verb and also subject, and it divided by two: independent and also dependent clause. Independent clause is a complete sentence, and dependent clause is not a complete sentence. And adjective clause is a dependent clause that uses to modify a noun. So here, everyone, any question? No? Okay. Jangan mati. Okay. Here, until here, do you have any question? No? Okay. Let me rest first. Okay. Adjective clause is a dependent clause that modifies a noun. It describes, identifies, or gives further information about a noun. And also, adjective clause, there are some, adjective clause use pronoun to connect it, the independent clause with adjective clause. And the nouns, the pronouns are who, whom, whose, which, that. Those are pronouns that use in adjective clause, and we can call them as adjective clause pronouns. Okay? Till here, do you have any questions? No? Okay. Alright, everybody. Maybe this is the introduction of adjective clause, and after this I want to explain about adjective clause using whose. Okay? Okay, everybody. Adjective clause using whose. Here. Okay, adjective clause using whose. Whose is used to show possession. Whose here? Possession. Alright, everybody. Adjective clause using whose. Adjective clause using whose. Okay, here whose it shows the position that's connected to the independent clause and the adjective clause. And whose is used has the same meaning as adjective pronouns. Or we can say, what is that? Or we can say, not adjective pronouns. We can say possessive pronouns. I'm sorry, yeah, possessive pronouns. It has meaning as possessive pronouns. What is possessive pronouns? Possessive pronouns is like it's, her, his, their,
What is
ours, and any others. Adjective and any others about that. Those are. Kau tuh ngapain nggak lu? Oke, ulang. Pencet lagi. One. Alright, possessive pronouns. Possessive pronouns are it's, her, his, theirs, ours. These are possessive pronouns. And whose is used as possessive pronouns also. It carries the same meaning as possessive pronouns. For example, his, by, his bicycle, and we change become whose bicycle. This is the possessive pronouns, And this is adjective clause using whose. And we change become whose bicycle. So whose, it carries the same meaning as possessive pronouns. Until here you understand? Okay. And whose here to connect the independent clause. For example, the first sentence is the real sentence that we need to change to become adjective clause using whose. I know the man his bicycle was stolen. I know the man whose bicycle was stolen. This is the sentence that we need to change to become adjective clause. It consists of two sentences, and we change to become adjective clause become one sentence only. Okay, I will give the example. I know the man whose bicycle was stolen. This one, it becomes one sentence. It becomes one sentence only. So, and whose here is used as the possessive pronoun his. Okay, everybody, until here you understand? So, whose, it carries the same meaning as possessive pronouns. This is how to use adjective clause using pronouns. And also, there are some note. Sorry. There is some note that whose is not only used, usually whose is used in people, but there are some cases that whose also can be a things, not only a people. For example, idea. Okay, for example, Mr. Cat has a painting. Its values inestimable. Mr. Cat has a painting. Its values inestimable. Mr. Cat has a painting. Its values inestimable. It here is a possessive pronoun, but for the things, and we can change also. Previous examples that was about the people, right? And this one is about the things. So we change become Mr. Cat has a painting. Mr. Cat has a painting whose value is inestimable. So this is the example that whose can be used also as possessive pronoun, but for the things, not only the people. Alright, everybody? Until here you understand? Okay, that's all from me. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining my class. And let's close our class by reciting Hamdalah together. Alhamdulillah alamin. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.